Hello, and welcome back to another Kids Talk Sports video. Today we will be going over the college football rankings as of now, and we'll be going over the top six teams mainly and get into the playoffs and then some of the other things we think might be maybe flaws, what we could say, in the ranking. So let's just get right into it. Abe, you can start.
With number one Alabama, I don't think there's any debate if they're number one, except if you're like the team that's contending for the college football playoff. Um, as for number two, Notre Dame, they're a good team and all. I think they'll make the playoff, but I don't think they're number two. I know they beat Clemson. They almost lost to their backup quarterback.
Mhm.
And, I just obviously this upcoming week we'll see how they face against Trevor Lawrence, their actual quarterback. And actually I think that will be a blowout because first of all you make Clemson mad because you beat them. And then you also have the fact that, they want to beat you. It's just. And they like the challenge. So, I think you drop them down to number three and maybe Clemson a number two. Because, for that exact reason.
Mhm.
And then Clemson, they're a good team, probably the best quarterback in the draft. Obviously, Buckeye fans don't think so because they have Justin Fields. But, they have like probably, they're always up there. They're always up there.
Mhm.
Whether, they're always up there. And, I think if you put them at three or two, I'll be fine. But obviously, things will like change as the conference championship things come up.
All right.
Number four,
Yeah.
you want to go next?
Yeah, all right. So I just want to say Alabama, yeah, no one's going to debate that. If you do, just don't. Okay. Notre Dame next. It makes sense there too because they beat Clemson. But yes, it was against their backup quarterback, and we're on the same page. I'm guessing Clemson is going to crush them because they want to prove a point that Notre Dame beating them against a backup quarterback means nothing. And Notre Dame doesn't really have anything to play for. They're basically in the playoffs unless they get crushed, which they're probably still because of who's next in the rankings. But we can get to that next. And then Clemson, yeah, the reason they put Clemson 3 or 2, not 4, is because they want Alabama and Clemson to play in the finals, obviously, and that's probably what's going to happen. And yeah, and then Ohio State. God, as much as I hate it, uh, they probably are one of the top teams, and they're going to
I
crush
think
Northwestern.
um
So
you go. Sorry, but that Indiana game when I had to, it was really close, and I just don't. They haven't played anybody that I can say, oh wow, that's. I mean, Indiana's a great team, though, but they didn't look good playing Indiana. It's
yeah,
like, and then I
once
just don't
again,
know
they're
if.
Ohio. So
Yeah, then again, they're Ohio State, but like if you look at the teams below Ohio State, also, and they have played 5 games. Obviously, they if they beat Northwestern, that's a quality win. But
nah,
Northwestern is nothing.
nah,
Northwestern is nothing compared to the top four
yeah,
teams that you're
exactly.
about to face. But if you look at A&M beat Florida. They've been playing actual teams. Like actual good teams. And then Iowa State, actually
They're
they beat Texas, who's ranked 20th. They beat Oklahoma, who's ranked 10th. So they have good quality wins. But honestly, they actually do have some bad losses. I think they lost to Louisiana, who's 19.
yeah, they lost
Um,
some horrible teams, and
yeah, I know.
yeah,
But
they're. I don't know.
that's
This
why
is
I
where
was saying to you before that we made the video that
yeah,
teams can be different after they lose.
this is where the flaws are. Okay, because I'm sorry, but let's be honest. Florida and Georgia are much better than Iowa State. I don't care what you say. And then even Oklahoma, they might. I guess you can put Oklahoma under them. And like Cincinnati, did they play like any like top 10 teams?
I think they played UCF, who's always like a
Yeah, but like, where are they right now? Where's UCF?
I
I
can
don't even see.
maybe pull up their schedule.
I don't think UCF's even ranked. Okay, so like that's where I think the flaws are. And like Florida, they're a strong team. Their losses are to LSU. That
They
really
do
sucks.
they do play Tulsa, who's ranked 23rd, I think
Yeah,
maybe.
see, that's kind of weak, dude. Yeah, they're 23rd. Yeah, I don't. Iowa State and Cincinnati. I don't think they should be like maybe lower, like 9 and 10. But Oklahoma, they should be under Iowa State because they lost.
Yeah, but last time this happened, um, UCF was the main team. They were undefeated and all, and they beat Auburn in their bowl game. And Auburn was what I think ranked 7th.
Yeah.
So some of these teams have been good, but they
Yeah,
just
but I just don't.
I
Look
don't
at
know
who
if
they
they're college
lost. They're
football
not
playoff.
undefeated.
But I mean, I would love. I mean, this is why some people are asking for a tournament because teams like Cincinnati or UCF or
Yes,
Coastal
exactly.
Carolina because they're 12, they want them to at least have a chance.
They should. I know they should
Given
for
the
sure do
opportunity.
that. They should have like top 10 or 8 or something. And I don't even care if you have buys, but like because I do want to see like in March
And if you're
Madness
gonna do
college
it, this is probably the year to do it because nobody cares
yeah,
about 20.
but it's too late now. But like college basketball, they have the March
And that's why you
Madness.
see, like a couple years ago, what was that team called? Loyola
Well,
Chicago went to the
exactly.
Final Four.
Well,
Yeah,
it's true that team. You know why college football doesn't want to do it because all the big teams are all the ones in power, and they don't want to have all these little teams have a chance to beat them. It's so true. They're scared, and then yeah, because in March Madness, all the time there's
they don't
teams
want an Appalachian State to happen
that
to them.
upset and like get to the Final Four. So you know that that's exactly what's happening. They don't want all the because they're all the ones in power. So yeah.
Also,
Anyway,
back to
so
Iowa State, they also play Oklahoma in the Big 12 championship. I actually think that'll be really close, but I think Oklahoma's eventually going to win because
yeah.
they're
So
Oklahoma.
yeah, so that I mean, I think most of it like it's okay. I definitely agree with Florida and Georgia being like top 10 for sure. Definitely Florida
I
because
don't know if Georgia deserves to be 8, honestly,
yeah,
because
but
they
I
got
think in
crushed
reality
by
they are.
They got crushed by Florida, and then I forgot the other team they lost to, but I think they haven't even been. I don't know if they've actually been contending with the big dogs, I guess you would say.
Mhm.
So do they
Yeah,
deserve to be 8? Because I mean, 7 and 8 are really close, but Florida crushed them. So
yeah.
why are they 8?
Mhm.
And then Florida, you just lost to LSU, one of the worst teams in the SEC. You lost at home, and at this time it actually means something because SEC
Yeah,
has
that was
fans.
horrible because like
Because the
I
guy
would
threw a shoe. The
like
guy
in
threw a shoe
reality
to
I
give
would have
them
like
life.
I would have never thought that was the team they were gonna lose to. Because I was like, okay, they're going to the conference championship against
They still
Alabama.
are, but it's like, why lose that? And then you literally had the game in the bag, and the guy throws his shoe like 20 yards, the LSU player's
Yeah,
shoe,
dude. Oh
and
yeah, I
that gives
remember
them the
it.
life,
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, just
So,
for people that didn't watch that game, basically they stopped LSU and then the Florida guy threw the LSU's dude shoot 20 yards and then was like, What? What? Did I do something? And then he lost the game for them. And then yeah. So anyway, so yeah, I think Florida's there. I mean, yeah, that was a horrible loss. I would have never thought that was gonna happen.
mhm.
And
Like, who has LSU beat? Who have they been contending
no,
with? And then
they're
they beat
not
you.
yeah, they're
And
not
you only
I
drop one spot. I expect them to go like to number 12 or something because that was a terrible loss.
Yeah, and everyone that watches our videos, you know that we hate Ohio State because we're Michigan fans. And like I was gonna be so happy if Florida would have beat Alabama, then there was a chance that Ohio State wouldn't have made the playoffs.
But
Florida
even if
just
Florida
screwed them.
wins, I think they could still get in.
Yeah, but that's just how do you lose that like LSU? Like they suck this year.
Mhm.
So yeah, and Texas A&M, I think that's where they should be in the rankings, but it's kind of I think this is where it's also unfair where they should have a tournament because they can't go to the conference thing, but maybe they are
They have
better.
a game against Tennessee this upcoming week, but
Yeah,
it's
but
not.
like
It's just a makeup game.
yeah, but see because like they beat Florida, right? So
Mhm.
but they got crushed against Alabama, but if you give them another chance, they can't go to the conference.
And I'm pretty sure like they'll probably play harder because they want their revenge.
Yeah, but they can't make the conference thing because they're in the same
Yeah.
group as Alabama.
Yeah.
Like
Well, if
honestly,
obviously if Florida,
I
yeah.
bet they might be better than Notre Dame. So like, I don't know. I think that's where like there's flaws in how this playoff works. But yeah, so I think the main point is that Clemson I think they'll crush Notre Dame. Alabama, they'll probably beat Florida. I don't. If Florida wins, I I think it depends on the score and like how dominant they play. If they play like if they barely win on a game-winning field goal, I'm not sure that's enough to put them in the playoffs. But then again, Ohio State. What if Ohio State loses? That's what I hope happens, but they won't. It's like
Because
99% chance they win.
Yeah, no, okay. So Oklahoma, they're good. I think I like where Oklahoma is because they've been ascending recently. So,
Yeah.
I like where they are at. I don't know if you have any thoughts about Oklahoma.
I think that's fine. They're not. They're like definitely top 15. So I'm not mad about that.
Indiana at 11, I have a problem with because they're a good team, but their starting quarterback tore his ACL. So,
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So I don't know if you put them there because I don't know if they're actually a good team without their starting quarterback.
In
With
reality,
their starting quarterback, honestly, I think they're a top 10 team.
Yeah.
If everybody's healthy. But at 11 with your backup quarterback, I don't think that's the right area. I think you maybe put them lower 20s because I don't think their backup quarterback has, any. I mean, he probably has potential, but it's like
nah, he's nowhere near their starter. And in reality, like whenever you match it up for the bowl games, like the second best Big Ten team, then like Indiana without their it's unfair to not put them as the second best Big Ten team, but in reality, with a backup quarterback, they're really nothing. So
and then number 12, Coastal Carolina.
I don't know what to think about this.
They're
such a
okay. Listen, they actually have more quality wins than Cincinnati because they beat number 17 BYU and then they beat number 19 Louisiana. So they actually do have quality wins.
Yeah, BYU. That's quality. I agree.
And so I maybe you put them a little lower, but I think around the 12 to 15 area, I would respect that.
Yeah, and then moving on, USC. We don't need to go through every single one, but USC 5-0, so they're undefeated. I mean, the problem is you can't put them any higher, and you can't really put them lower.
And I don't think it helps that Pac-12 started late, even later than the Big Ten. So
Yeah, so that's what I mean. I'm fine with that, I guess. They're probably pretty decent. USC,
no, but I honestly, every time they've always been coming from behind. It's not like they've ever had control of the game. Like, look, they literally almost lost to UCLA.
Yeah, sure.
So, and I understand that's a rivalry game, but still, Northwestern, I'm okay with where they at.
Yeah,
they haven't beaten anybody significant.
I'm not really sure they're that
good. But Wisconsin doesn't even look that good anymore. They're not even ranked anymore.
And the Big Ten sucks this year. That's why Ohio State sucks for them. That there's no one maybe they are a top 4 team, like I keep saying, but they can't prove it because they play such horrible teams. They're literally playing Northwestern in the conference thing. Yeah.
And then as for North Carolina, I think they deserve to be higher.
Yeah, Miami.
I think Miami is a good team, but the way they crushed them, I think they rushed for 500 yards.
Yeah.
And they were competing with Notre Dame, I think, maybe 2 weeks ago, maybe a week ago. And then I forgot who the other loss is to Florida State, which is a terrible loss. Don't get me wrong,
but that's horrible. Yeah, but they're
contending, and also I really like their quarterback. I think he's a potential first rounder. So I think they deserve to be higher, especially the way they crushed Miami.
Yeah, I don't know much about them, but we don't need to go through any of the rest mainly. Besides, I think BYU, maybe they could be a little higher. I mean, they lost to the 12 team, right?
Yeah.
So I think they're probably better than. I think you could put them above USC.
Yeah, but then the question comes up again. BYU, if they ever face somebody that's actually a good team,
exactly.
They just lose.
They'll probably get crushed, and makes sense. And then Miami's the last one. That loss 62-26, that. I just don't see North Carolina doing that to a good team. So I think where they are is not bad. They're a big school. What are they? 8-2. Who's their other loss to?
Clemson.
Okay, so yeah, that's pretty fair. And then the rest of the teams, I mean, do you see any major flaws? I mean, these are hard to judge.
Major flaw, I think Colorado doesn't deserve to be ranked after losing to Utah by 17. And Oklahoma State, I don't they literally had their destiny in their own hands. They were undefeated.
Mhm.
You were ranked number 6 at
And
one point.
choked
You just
big
tumbled
time.
down all the way to
Choked
21.
big time. Yeah.
Yeah. That's
So
all I have.
so I want to just say I want to talk about this one more time. Maybe in our previous college football video we talked about this, but what if Florida wins and
Yeah.
and Ohio State loses? Like, where does Texas A&M stand in all this? Because they can't do anything.
They're right in the first. They have to beat Tennessee this upcoming
Yeah.
Saturday, and then I think the best scenario, the funniest scenario, or the most chaotic scenario that you could possibly make up is that Florida beats Bama, right?
Clemson loses.
Notre Dame, but Ohio State loses to
Yeah.
Northwestern.
Yeah. So that
would probably be the most chaotic thing I've ever seen because
and
every single
before we
team
answer,
except one loses that are in the top 4 right now.
Okay, before we answer, put your comment down below who you would put as the top 4 if that happened, and then Abe will get right into it. Go ahead, Abe.
So I think if Florida can beat I think I'm gonna go one by one. If Florida beats Alabama, do you think they deserve to be in the college football playoff?
I feel like it depends on the score. If it's like if they won by like more than one possession, or like had the ball and they were up by a possession, that's fair. As long as they weren't like, because like I'm saying, if this is like 500, like not like 500 total yards to 500 total yards, and on a game winner barely hitting like a 50-yard field goal, I don't know because like they won, but like.
But does that make them a
they,
good team because they were just neck and neck with the number
exactly.
1 team?
In Alabama, they're basically in unless they lose like 3-60 or something. So I think Alabama they're basically set, but Florida they need to like if they're gonna win this, they need to win it by like.
I think it's a situation where you have to win by like. I think you have to like prove yourself in a way. Like maybe sometimes it'll be like I think you have to win by at least 13 or more. I think that's a good place to put it.
And you got to crush them.
I want to see something from your defense because I know your offense is good. You have a Heisman quarterback, but I haven't seen anything from defense, especially if LSU put 37 on you.
Yeah.
But and then I think A&M put 38 on you. So it's like I think you have to win by 13 plus, and I want to see something improve for your defense if you win. Because obviously, if you lose, I don't think anything matters.
I agree. So,
what about Notre Dame, Clemson?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll give you 2 scenarios. What if Clemson crushes Notre Dame?
So I think Notre Dame's in. I don't actually think there's any way they don't get in.
I think if Clemson crushes Notre Dame, like crushes them, like 20 points, which I think is very foreseeable, I don't think they deserve to be in.
I see it for sure. Like this is where, but like the problem is this. I think this is also where it's like all comes full circle. If Florida wins, Florida loses, then like who do you replace them with? Texas.
I think.
Yeah. So like, but they didn't even play in the conference thing. And if they lose, is Tennessee even ranked?
Who?
No, right? So Tennessee's not even ranked. So like, you're not really proving anything besides that you're not going to lose against a horrible team.
Yeah, but we've seen stuff before where teams are really good, they lose in the final week.
I needed to see Texas A&M be closer with Alabama. There, just for you guys that don't know, Texas A&M lost by like 30 points or something. So I think you still put Notre Dame in unless, 20 points. That I can see it them not going in because they beat Clemson with a backup quarterback. But
the backup quarterback took them in double overtime.
Yeah, exactly. So, I think it's like all depends on the other games. And then if you move on to the Ohio State one, let's be honest, they're not going to lose. But if they did lose.
If they win, they're probably in the playoff. But if they don't, that'd just create more chaos.
Yeah. So if they lose and Clemson loses, does Clemson still go? I argue yes.
I think Clemson doesn't go. Clemson doesn't go.
So who would you put then in the top?
You said if Ohio State loses and Clemson loses? Okay, Ohio State needs to go, and Clemson needs to go because Clemson now is to the same team twice with their backup quarterback and their starting quarterback. And I would replace them with A&M.
And then
As a
Florida,
fan, I want to say Cincinnati just for the heck of it. But
nah. I think because then you're like, so then you have Alabama. Are we saying Florida loses in this scenario? If Florida wins that, then Florida's gone, and then Texas A&M. So you have 3 SEC teams in Notre Dame. Like that's like I don't know, but in reality, maybe those are top 3 teams. So
so what would A&M be, 3? Or
yeah,
would Florida
I
be
don't know the
3?
exact rankings, but like it would be Alabama,
Because
Texas.
I mean, would you rank Florida? Or, I mean, okay, let's say that Clemson loses and then Ohio State loses. Would you put A&M 3 or Florida 3? Because listen, I know it doesn't seem that much big of a deal because they're in the playoff, but we already seen A&M and Alabama once already, and A&M beat Florida, but Florida beat the Alabama team.
I think it goes Alabama, probably Notre Dame, then Texas A&M, Florida. Wait, no. They flip flop Texas A&M, Florida because they don't want Florida playing Alabama again.
Well, Florida gets in, Alabama has to go down.
Oh yeah, you're right. Oh my. Okay. So then Notre Dame won.
Yeah, Notre Dame would be 1.
Okay, so then I guess.
Honestly, even if Notre Dame crushed, like let's say we forget all everything, right? If Notre Dame crushed Clemson and Alabama squeaked by Florida, I'm putting Notre Dame number 1.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know because I think in reality what's gonna happen is Clemson's gonna beat Notre Dame, Alabama's gonna beat Florida. So then it's basically set. It'll be.
I think Florida will make it competitive a little bit, but because I don't think it's because I think it's just because they have the scoring, they have the ability to score.
So see, I think the final thing will be Alabama 1, Clemson 2, Ohio State 3, Notre Dame 4.
And then Notre Dame 4. Yeah,
which is
that's
like
fair.
what happens like every year. Clemson and Ohio State.
Unless Clemson somehow destroys Notre Dame by a lot, or vice versa.
So we're doing this really like as the most chaotic scenarios. So in reality, what's going to happen is it'll probably be Alabama 1 because they'll beat Florida, then Clemson 2 most likely, then probably Ohio State 3, Notre Dame 4. Yeah, I think, and I don't think they put Notre Dame against Clemson because they already played each other. You can't do them 3 times in a row, like 3 times. So
I don't know. It'd be really funny to see that though.
Yeah, right. But I think it'll be.
So is there really no way that A&M would get in?
I think so. Like unless it's like these huge blowouts and like every team loses, like we said. But because the problem is and this is why I think this is stupid that it's only 14. Because I bet Texas A&M is definitely like a top 6 team, but
I think top 8 would be the best thing because you can't do top 10 because that doesn't make any sense. You wouldn't get into the amount teams.
But like Texas A&M can't prove anything more now because they're playing a team that's not even ranked, and they can't make it to the SEC championship. So they're basically I think that's stupid how it works. So definitely a flaw there. But yeah, anything else to add before we close it out?
Not really, except I hope every top team loses because I want the most possible chaos ever.
Yeah, I agree. I want this to be, and I want Ohio State also.
As a college football fan, I just want to see this happen.
Yeah, I don't want Ohio State to make it, obviously. And yeah, I want to see this because you know how the college football.
I want to see how the committee would actually do things because
that's what. I want to see how biased they are and stuff because obviously.
Because I think they're really biased to Clemson and the SEC.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they want it to be Clemson or Alabama in the final. So yeah, we'll see how it plays out. But yeah, anyways, thanks.
We'll probably make a video after the conference championship too.
Yeah, we'll definitely do that and reflect on it. But yeah, make sure to check out our other videos that we've made in the past. We also had another college football one you could check out, and
the Jim Harbaugh one.
Yeah, Jim Harbaugh one. If he should be fired, Michigan, rough year. But anyway, so yeah, make sure to check out those
Go
videos.
blue.
And yeah, we'll see you later. Go blue.